Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to Anime Weekly. The gang's all here. I'm here, and Jeremy's back.
Yep, long time no see, guys. How's it going? Just here munching on my stack of
So you can see
latest chips.
whatever's left. We just had this huge conversation before the show, and the recording program, wasn't working too well. So hopefully now it's working fine. When we did the tests, it wasn't. Now it's going good. So anyway, this week we got a bit of news for you guys. Before we get into any of the animes, first of all, Dragon Ball Super is still MIA. I don't know if it's because they haven't
Actually, that came out. That came out just a few hours late, so I can talk about that one.
It did. I didn't see it.
Yeah. I don't. It came out. I ended up watching the Raw instead because I still wanted to know what was going on.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. Obviously, I couldn't. I don't understand Japanese, so I didn't read the dialogue.
So
But
that's
I can tell you what happened in the fights.
no. Let's wait. Let's wait until it comes out sub, so this way we can discuss it, fully without the fight.
All right, cool. Well, I will say though, the tournament is finally starting to redeem itself. And
Good.
Goku, and what we predicted came true. Goku is back involved in the tournament.
Oh, good. So that's a plus. That's a huge plus, and that's good to know going back into it. Hopefully they'll have it subbed by this week, so we can
Yeah,
talk.
it's weird that it's delayed that long.
I was talking to DN, and on Hulu, Divine Gate and Dimension W are an episode or two behind. One of them, I don't remember. I believe he said Divine Gate is an episode behind, and he doesn't know why. They're taking an extra week to sub it for some reason.
Oh, is this for? This is the sub version on Hulu. Oh, okay.
So it's
I think it's because it's the transfer over from international to America.
maybe, and they're making sure that the dialogue is less specific.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Dragon Ball Super is not going to be in this episode. One Piece is back. I'll give you guys a list of the animes as soon as we get into some news. We've got Jeremy has to discuss one thing. After that, we're going to talk about a show that's going to be... Well, actually, there's a connection to it. There's a news piece connected to that show that Jeremy's going to talk about. We'll talk about that after that. And then before we go into the list, there's a little preview for a show that we found. We shared it in the Dark Avenger Nation that will be showing up in the summer for Anime Weekly. But before that, now, Jeremy, you missed last week. Last week, there were a lot of really great episodes. I mean, Dimension W, we got more deep into Kyo's kind of... past.
Yeah, we got to see more of his memories. That was very cool. Again, a lot of cool visuals. I like that we're piecing together his kind of fractured time on Easter Island. It reminds me very much of Wolverine, and that's why I like this type of story. So I'm really digging Dimension W, and we'll definitely go into that when we talk about this week because I feel like it really stepped its game up.
Yep.
And I'm liking this. I'm liking the dub so far. Also, I'm keeping up with the Toonami dub. And it's pretty damn good. I like it.
I'm glad. That's great. And we all know how Jeremy feels about Itachi, so we all know Jeremy loved last week's Naruto like he loved this week's.
Oh yeah, it was great. And man, Sasuke is so freaking adorable. This is the one time where Sasuke is just not a total asshole. So you just aw, Sasuke.
Yeah, and then finally, the only other thing before we get into the show that I want you to talk about, Luck and Logic. We predicted this since episode 1 that that Olga was going to end up with a super strong foreigner, and then when Lucifer came around, we pointed and said Olga is going to bond with Lucifer, and
it was pretty intense though. I really like his look. I like his look a lot.
I think Luck. I will say this, guys. Luck and Logic definitely got first place this week for multiple reasons for me, and Fairy Tail. Even though Fairy Tail isn't in the second place order. Fairy Tail was not too far behind because we went back to present day with Fairy Tail. But before we go into 101, Jeremy, you prepared me for this. You set me up for this. When you decided to put Fairy Tail in Anime Weekly, because when we started, we didn't have Fairy Tail. We put Fairy Tail in, I believe, episode 2 or 3, and you
because I had started to get back into it because I had exclusively went to the manga. And I was like, you know what, the anime starting the Zero arc, and I'm like, I love Zero, so I gotta watch this. and I'm like, all right, I'll see if Chris likes this, and so I got you to watch it,
And then
know,
I went back and watched the first 6 episodes of the very beginning of Fairy Tale. I don't know if we could call that season 1 or the first,
I would call it the first series. I would just say it the first series.
Okay, the first series. And I watched the first 6 or 7 episodes. I'm still trying to fight to catch up. But this episode in particular, episode 100, the end of Zero.
I've been talking about it for weeks. I've been alluding to how much this is gonna hurt. Man, it's so hard to say goodbye.
I said my feelings, so
yesterday.
other than the music, which I don't want to,
That's why I did a little cover, because it's not copyrighted. You can't copyright me singing off key out loud.
Oh, I know. But I'm saying, you tried to prepare me. I read the manga, so I felt I was prepared, and then that episode hit, and
Yep.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. The
Nope.
emotion.
Nope. I watched like we said the first time we recorded this. I watched it like 3 times to fully process it. Reread the manga, and I still wasn't fully like processed. Like I had to sit there, and I'm like, she's really gone. This is it, and I'm just like, damn.
But now, the prediction I had, and I mentioned this last week, and I wanted to see your take on it as well, is I don't think that Zara was really a full illusion. I believe that the real Zara's soul was connected to it, because usually if it was just an illusion, it would disappear. But
Yeah.
when she acknowledged Zara was fake, Yuri saw her, wore it, and Precht heard her. So I believe that the soul, a piece of Zara's soul, was still
Yeah,
connected.
see, this is the way I've always read into that chapter / this episode, was that like Zara, if we see Zara in the beginning, and Zara is just so mean to Mavis. She absolutely hates her. She treats her like garbage, and yet Mavis is still so kind and so sweet to her, and that before she dies, Mavis tries to save Zara, as we see in that flashback there when Zara's fading away. So I think what happened is because Zara had that kind of unfinished business of this girl who was so nice to her, even though she was, really kind of just evil and spoiled towards her. Like the fact that, Mavis tried to save her, like Zara, I feel like Zara kind of owed her in that sense, and so like her spirit had that unfinished business, and so like that small part of her kind of clung to Mavis, and made sure that Mavis could look, that Mavis had somebody to look out for her while Mavis had no one around. But now that Mavis has her own friends in Yuri, Ward, and Precht, Zara feels like she's done now. She can move on because she has her own friends that they can chase fairies with together, as she says.
I agree. Sorry, I had a little minor interruption. For those of you watching and you saw my lips moving, but my mouth not saying anything, I was talking. I love this. I really love this a lot, and I'm glad you got me into Zero. And it does set up because you mentioned a lot of like this was going to connect to the future, and at the time last week we weren't able to do the show together, and I wanted to know why Fairy Tale was disbanded. So I actually went into the manga myself, except I didn't go backwards. I found the Challenger. It turns out the Challenger is actually a chapter in the manga. So I just started reading from the Challenger, and I went.
Yeah, the Challenger is actually the first chapter of the time skip, because they skip I think it's like another 2 years after Fairy Tale disbands.
No, it's 1 year. It's 1 year.
It's only 1 year. I thought it was 2, because they have a completely different like hairstyles and stuff for that first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it was cool.
Yeah, but I just wanted to know what happened, like why they disbanded. But instead of finding out why they disbanded, I waited to talk to you on Friday. We talked about it after Dark Avenger Live, and I had gone all the way forward to see, the beginning fight that's going to be going on, which I'm not going to spoil because we are going to get there. However, Jeremy gave me some wonderful news last night. Jeremy, you want to share this wonderful news?
Okay, so bad news, fairy tale fans. We
Yeah.
just got hit with the feels with the whole Zero arc and Zara, and here I come to as usual before Anime Weekly. What I like to do is I like to go to Anime News Network, which is one of the top reliable anime news websites, so I can look at possible news pieces for the show. And one of the top stories that was running is a fairy tale anime ending, and I'm like, ending, season ending, what? And so I click it, I read it, and it turns out that next episode, episode 102, is going to be the final episode of this season, apparently. However, they clearly state that the series itself is not ending. It's just the end of the season. So I'm assuming that just means they're transferring over to a seasonal format instead of a weekly shonen format, like how they usually do with Fairy Tail,
You
One
know
Piece, and
why?
Dragon Ball Super.
But you know why, Jeremy? And I could understand why. When I went into the manga, where we're at now, there is, if they do it as a weekly format, they would, by this time next year, it would be done. It will have
Yeah,
caught up to
and yeah, they would have surpassed the manga like really quickly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also, because that's one of the drawbacks about having an anime series with a manga that is still currently running. That you can't surpass the manga, because obviously you need the manga's material to
Mhm.
base your episodes off of in the first place.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing that's why they're taking the hiatus. But I'm glad it's not ending again, because man,
Absolutely.
I went through that pain once already. I'm not
What
doing it a second
what I
time.
don't understand though is why they chose such a odd number to end it on. They're ending it
Yeah,
with episode 102, which is the next episode of Anime Weekly is going to be the
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it would have been better if they had ended it at the end of Zero, and they would have just continued, like they would have went on the hiatus there, and we would have just
Mhm.
started off with this episode here, and it would have been the beginning of the time skip. That would have made a lot more sense. But I guess because they had already produced that episode, they wanted to go ahead and put that out there, I guess.
I
So
guess. So we're getting 2 episodes in the present, and then they're going to take 6 months off. I'm guessing.
6 months, possibly a year tops.
Oh,
Year
it better
tops.
not be a year. Don't say a year because a year, while, for us it's not that long. If you really think about it, though, I don't want to wait till 2017 for them to move forward with Fairy Tail just so that the manga can get what? A chapter a week comes out, I believe, or a chapter.
Yeah, yeah, it's a chapter a week. It's a
Come
chapter
on.
a week.
A chapter a week figure, if you do a year, that's 52 weeks, that's 52 chapters. You're saying you want to go from having like 180, which we're like all the way back at like 100 something or 2 something to
Yeah, this is technically it would be episode 206
right.
if we're going by original numbering. Yeah, it would
And
be
it
somewhere around
and the
206.
manga right now is at 270 something. Are you telling me that already you have 70 more weeks worth of content? You want to add another 52 before you continue? That doesn't make any sense. I would say 6 months tops because
Yeah.
it's 26.
However, the article did also say that there is a another fairy tale project in the works for the summer, which I'm assuming is a movie.
Has to be. How many specials were there?
Zero technically counted as the special for this year because it's like a whole special arc.
No. I mean, how many like every movie.
Oh, they've only had one so far, and that was like the Phoenix Priestess, I think.
Yes, it
Was
was. I'm
their
not talking about that.
yeah.
I'm talking about how many special mangas were made, like spin-offs of Fairy Tail.
Oh, Zero is the only spin-off manga.
Okay, so then basically they would have to be making up either something completely original or they would be adding on to a previous, like kind of like what Inuyasha was doing, kind of deal.
Yeah, it's probably just gonna be one of those non-canon side quest adventure things.
Okay, I can live with that though. I love it. I love Natu. He's one of my favorite characters. I love Happy. Happy's another really cool. I found out that they made Funkos of Lucy, Natu, and Happy. Those are joining my Funko collection
They
ASAP.
made a Funko of Lucy. Oh, I gotta get that.
And
Like,
Happy. They have a variant, a Hot Topic variant for Happy actually. That's
see,
coming.
if the second they make an Urza or a Gray,
I'm
or
waiting. I'm waiting. I was hoping they had like 5 or 6 of them. Unfortunately, it's the
man,
main three.
because because my favorite characters in Fairy Tail are in order probably Loxus, Gray, Urza, Mira Jane. Mira Jane is so freaking
They have
badass.
to make her. They have to make. That's the girl that joins Natu's group, right?
No, Urza is the
Ursa, that's
girl who
her.
joins Natsu's group. Mira Jane is the silver-haired one. That's the model chick.
Okay. Oh
Like
yes, 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 yes.
she's actually as powerful as Urza, but because she's kind of afraid of her power,
Doesn't
she doesn't use it. She's kind of just the model of the group.
dude,
She's like the
dude,
poster girl.
yeah, dude. They got to make Mavis also now because Mavis is gonna be
Oh,
playing a huge role in the
that
future.
would be awesome. And they gotta make all there are three different cats that we know. There's Happy, there's Charla, and there's Panther Lily. Panther Lily is my boy. I love Panther Lily. That's my favorite cat. You'll see him
I
later on.
I think we might get them as they're dubbing it because I think they made the first three because Fairy Tale the first 170 ish.
Zero is almost completely dubbed now.
Oh, they are dubbing it.
They're on 98 right now.
Oh, so it's as it's going in Japan, it's going in America. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just the first run was because I found the box sets.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Fairy Tale's been dubbing. Fairy Tale normally does dub concurrently. They're usually only like 2 or 3 episodes behind in
That's
dub.
that's good because I've been looking up Fairy Tale and I looked up the Blu-ray DVDs and I found out that they do the volumes, kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where it's
Yep.
like 20 somewhat episodes in a box set. And if you're telling me they're dubbing it as Japan is putting them out, also that's great because that means
Usually the DVDs come out a month after each arc.
okay, so that means that after 102, we should be expecting the latest box set sometime during the summer.
Yeah, like
Good.
that's usually how they space it. Especially because it's a Funimation release, they're usually very timely on their
I
release
was
schedules.
I was thinking of playing catch up. I think there's only like 8 or 9 box sets so far, so I was
Yeah.
thinking of slowly playing catch up and
Mhm.
owning it. I want to own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Funimation. What I love about Funimation is they always like put out very affordable, like box sets. I mean, there are a lot of other great anime companies out there, but the other companies, not calling anyone out, but the other anime companies tend to really put a lot of money into their Blu-ray sets.
Oh, speaking of one thing, and I have to bring it up because I didn't talk about it last week, but Alan shared something with me. I got to get your take on it.
Are
Attack.
you are you talking about the Attack on Titan thing? I actually talked to Alan about this, and the way I see it, right? Unless we get specific word from the creator
Oh,
of Attack on
you're not
Titan.
taking it as official then.
No, it's not like it's still on schedule unless said otherwise by the creator. And so far, the creator has said nothing. He hasn't commented, and he's actually been putting chapters out on a regular basis now. So I have a feeling, and that's a good sign for the season 2 to come out. And then, like again, the article itself didn't show up on Anime News Network. Unless it shows up on Anime News Network,
You don't
I don't
consider
trust
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last piece of news, because we got to get into some anime, is in the summer, Jeremy shared a new anime coming out. It involves taboo. It involves tattoos. It
Yeah,
looks awesome.
I think it's called Taboo Tattoo. It's actually, if you guys are familiar with this, I don't know the person's name exactly, but the creator of the anime is Shakugan no Shana, which is one of my favorites. I watched it maybe last year, 2 years ago, and the character design artist for from the anime Golden Time, which is another one of my favorite romance animes. They're working together to form this series called Taboo Tattoo, and the character design for the main character looks really cool. She has this cool looking jacket, and it's pretty interesting looking.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to it. When you showed it to me, especially with Fairy Tail going out, uh, Pokemon and One Piece literally on the precipice of becoming just part of the otaku hour, and how long can Luck and Logic, Dimension W, all these other animes last? They're only gonna last till like 20, 30 episodes, and Garo looks like they're almost ready to close off too. We're gonna have to have some animes added to this show soon. So
Yep. And
definitely.
Assassination Classroom is also ending soon as well.
Well, in the
That
manga,
that
it's ending
manga
soon.
actually, yeah, the manga's ending. I think next week, I believe.
So the manga's ending, but the show has a ways to go still. I mean, we could be seeing episode 40
Count.
before. Uh-oh. Jeremy. Jeremy.
We're on like episode. Oh no, am I not moving?
No,
Am I not moving?
you're good. You froze for a second, but the program's still recording. Everything's fine.
Okay. What I was saying was we're on like 13, right? Like yeah.
No, we're on
So
11. We're on 11.
oh we're on 11. Oh yes, then that's
Sorry about that, guys. We had to. This is an edit in. This program recently updated. Skype recently updated. There were a bunch of updates, and now the program, apparently, if Jeremy or myself freezes or goes off, apparently my camera on the program shuts off, and all you see is Jeremy, and you just hear me. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, it's fixed. Hopefully everything will be running well now, and we can, get through the rest of this episode. So as I was saying before I got cut off, was Assassination Classroom's actually at episode 11. So there's a ways to go, I'm sure, before we get to the end of Assassination Classroom.
Yep. It's gonna be rough. We're gonna have to definitely find a whole huge set of animes now.
I agree. Well, we have Taboo Tattoo now coming in the summer. We've got Hero Academia. We have a few that we were looking into actually.
Yeah, the one by the guy who made One Punch Man. That looks very interesting. I'm very curious to see how that goes.
Exactly, and we're just gonna have to keep One Piece and Pokemon until more anime show. But you know what? We're so worried now. The summer I expected to be less because it's the summer. People go away. People don't have. They go on vacation, whatever. But when winter comes again, and we get around to fall, like fall and winter, I have a feeling we're gonna get shot with a lot. I think Fairy Tail will come back by the winter. I think that a lot of animes are gonna come back by winter. When you agree?
Yep, and at least we know every month we'll have a One Punch Man special or something.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. We've been getting that, and thank God we'll have that until 2017. So, okay, I thought I froze. It looked like I froze. So before anything happens again, let's get through the anime that came out this week. This program's scaring the hell out of me. This week we've got Pokemon XY&Z episode 16. We have Garo season 2 episode 22, which I believe is gearing towards the end. One Piece returns with episode 733. Naruto.
And there was an actual fight in that one. I'm excited to talk about that.
Exactly. We got Naruto Shippuuden 453, which I'm sure you're also excited about because it's an Itachi one. We got Fairy Tail 101. We have Divine Gate 11, which, as you stated before the show, either it's really weird or it's really epic, and this one wasn't weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Well, it's not really weird. It was really awesome.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I feel like even when it's awesome, it's still weird. It's one of those shows that, like, I like it, but at the same time, it's got some pretty trippy visuals.
It's true. It's true. We got Assassination Classroom Season 2, Episode 11, like I mentioned already. We have Dimension W, Episode 11, and then we're going to conclude it all with Luck and Logic, Episode 11, because I believe out of all of them, Luck and Logic, Fairy Tail 101, those are my two tops this week. They're out of order, obviously, because honestly, our top 6 are our top 6, period. We really can't put them in order. We're ending with Luck and Logic because I feel like there's the biggest discussion with Luck and Logic. So let's start with Pokemon X, Y, and Z episode 6. Oh, by the way, guys, I apologize in advance. I'm going to be guesstimating the time for each of these animes because this is going to be an edited together video. So the first part was a half hour. That's why we didn't want to re-record it. So I'm guesstimating. When we cut off, it was around 20 minutes. So I'm going to guesstimate 20 minutes plus the time I have here. So hopefully it'll be close enough, but they're going to be a little bit off. If you're listening to this on iTunes or SoundCloud or Stitcher, you can't see the timestamps anyway, so mostly this is for YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. If you're listening online, well, here we go. So first off, we have Pokemon XYZ episode number 16. This was, Jeremy, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm a little frustrated because when I stopped watching Pokemon, the show was about Ash, and it was about him going to get the badges, to become the Pokemon Master, yada yada. This episode is at
Yep.
least the third or fourth that's centered around Serena and her quest to be, to getting those keys in the Pokemon
Yeah,
contest.
see, that they've been doing this as a trend for Pokemon seasons since I want to say like Diamond and Pearl, which is actually the last one that I actually followed all the way through, um, where they give the female companion a lot more shine than they used to in the original. But I'm not the biggest fan of Serena.
I like her character. I'm just not a fan of. This is okay, and this is going to sound so bad, and I apologize to every Pokemon fan or anybody who's a fan of Serena in advance, but this is Pokemon. When I think of Pokemon, when I was a kid, it was a Pokemon battle. It was about one.
And contests are honestly pretty boring. Like, I'm not gonna
Exactly.
lie.
They added those to Ruby Red and Alpha Sapphire, like they were in Red and Sapphire and Ruby, but for a show, I mean, I skipped around on this episode. I love Serena. I love her connection with her Pokemon, and it
Oh
showed.
yeah, her Pokemon are all really cool, but if she was a battle trainer, this would have been a lot more interesting than if she was just a contest coordinator. And I feel like that's kind of sexist to always have the girl be into the contest. Why can't the girl battle too? You know what I mean?
I agree, and you could tell that she's going to leave Ash at some point because there's that woman that's looking to put her as one of the heads of the contest, and if that happens, she's going to leave Ash's party. It's bound to happen. She's going to become the contest.
That always happens. That always happens, especially when the girl actually has feelings for Ash. She ends up getting like a higher position and eventually just leaving him. Like like it started with Misty with her sisters, and they're like, "We want you to be the head gym leader, so you're gonna have to leave and you're gonna stay in Cerulean City."
Hmm.
Yeah, so
And it just
like,
keeps getting worse and worse for Ash. Yep.
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm just, and I don't understand it. Pokemon still has an ongoing manga series. Why is Pokemon the only show that I know, at least, that deviates? Pokemon is its own. The anime's one thing and the manga's another.
I actually I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine because we had gotten through Digimon Try a couple weeks ago. We watched it together and we talked about the whole Digimon versus Pokemon debate. And he actually brought up a very good point. Digimon is a successful anime with a video game spin-off. Pokemon is a successful video game with an anime spin-off.
Yeah, but even the video game doesn't follow Ash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like the anime isn't necessarily like the point that he was trying to make was like the anime isn't the main focus. I feel like what Pokemon really tends to put all their eggs in a basket towards is the
Yep.
video game more than the actual like anime. Because I feel like the anime is just for the kids to want to buy the game. Kind of like how in the '80s, how the GI Joe cartoon was just to buy GI Joes.
And
Yeah,
Transformers was just for Transformers.
yeah, and the same with the turtles and the turtle action figures and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of what Pokemon is
But
in Japan.
But wouldn't you agree with me, and I talked about this last week, wouldn't you agree with me if they took the mangas and they actually did an anime based off of the mangas, which are so far ahead, if they started now, forget it, the manga is years ahead of any anime they would make for Pokemon. If they would follow ahead,
I would totally read that because I mean Pokemon Origins
watch
is
it.
some of the greatest
Yeah.
stuff I've seen in a long time for Pokemon animated wise.
Exactly. It was so good. Why is it so hard to have an anime based off of the mangas? The mangas were so much better than this anime that we're watching right now. It didn't follow one person. Red, blue, and green were the first three characters, and they lasted for. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! They lasted for the first season. Then when we went to, I think
Johto, it was
Red
silver,
was
it was
Johto,
red, silver, gold.
yeah, red, silver, and gold. Green and blue stayed behind in Kanto. Red was basically the Ash of the series. He was in most of the regions,
Yep.
most of them. But Red was different from Ash. He didn't want to be a Pokemon master. He wanted to complete the Pokedex. Obviously, he wanted to become a master, but that wasn't his goal in life. His goal in life was to
He wanted to help.
Pokemon.
He wanted to help. He wanted to help fulfill Professor Oak's dream because he, felt like he owed Professor Oak because Professor Oak is the one who gave him his first Pokemon, which was Charizard.
And he also wanted to be one with Pokemon. His goal was to understand the Pokemon world. Yes, he battled. Yes, he got every single gym badge. And yes, he was one of the strongest Pokemon trainers out there. But his goal wasn't to be a master. His goal was to master knowing everything there was about Pokemon. He was more of a scientist than he was a trainer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like he was more into the research than into the battling, even though he had tremendous skill when it comes to battling. I feel like he only used battling as a means to help improve his Pokemon and his bond with his Pokemon.
Look at his Charizard. Ash's Charizard left. His Charizard is his main Pokemon. It Mega Evolved. Ash can't even hold on to his Charizard. Red kept his Charizard for life.
Yep. They've been together since day one, and that's awesome. And Red actually ages. You see he's got tall, different hairstyle. He wears different clothes.
Yep, I've seen that. Exactly. He grows up. And in the manga, he grew up, like you said. And the manga's really good. I don't understand. You have an excellent manga, but choose to make an anime so that you could sell a video game. That's stupid. You have an excellent manga. Make two versions. The Ash version for the kids, and the adult version gets the manga.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of fans, who grew up in our generation of like '90s anime, a lot of them actually prefer Digimon over Pokemon because Digimon tends to actually follow, the fan base as they get older. Like now, like I was saying, like we had Digimon Adventure, which was the original one. And then we had Digimon Adventure 2, and currently we have Digimon Adventure Tri, which is now they're in like their 20s, and they're dealing with life now, while also dealing with their Digimon.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's just a minor complaint, and that's why Pokemon. I guess you do age out of Pokemon because they don't age the character. They don't give watchers like us.
And you don't relate to the problems as much. I mean, how many times are you gonna have? I mean, he deals with the same problems every region. He loses a battle, or he can't defeat a certain gym leader, or like he loses one of his Pokemon, or one of his Pokemon leaves, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, or there's some kind of nefarious gang plot with with whatever region gang we're dealing with here. So like it's very repetitive, and I can if it wasn't for like the huge connection with Pokemon that we have, this would have been easily dropped.
Oh, it would have been dropped. It would have been like we started from episode 1. It would have been dropped at episode 4. If I did not have any connection whatsoever to any of these characters, if I did not grow up with it, I absolutely would. If I just got into Pokemon now and I had no connection to it when I was a kid, especially after this episode, if like I literally struggled through 15, this 16th episode would have been like, dude, this is not there's no everything is about everybody else and filler except Ash. This past 16 episodes, zero's happened with Ash except for fighting Alan. And that was 2 episodes ago now.
Yep.
3 episodes.
And they haven't even gone back to the whole Flare plot line.
Yeah, no. Z2 got captured and that was it. And then it's like, whoop, forgot about it again. I don't know. Only reason it's sticking around, guys, once again, is because so many of the shows that we're reviewing right now are either going to go on hiatus or they're going to be ending soon. So let's stop talking about this and let's talk about something we'll enjoy, which is not this one, the next one. But we'll talk about Garo, Season 2, Episode number 22. I believe this show is on its way out. I believe we're getting the last
I'm definitely thinking it's just 2 more episodes left. I definitely think it's only 2 more left.
Because Raikou ends up saving Semi. He goes inside of her subconscious and he saves her from the evil, whatever the evil thing's name was, because it completely left my mind.
Whatever was possessing her beforehand.
he goes in as the Golden Knight. He goes in as the Makai Knight, and he saves her, and she escapes. The possession now moved, but because of the way to get Raikou into her, the grandfather ends up passing away, and now Semi is upset. You've got Dormu, or Jeremy, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, everything froze for a second for me. You have Dormu, who's still out there, and now that's like, I guess, going to be the focal point of the rest of the anime, is going to be stopping him.
Mm.
So, yeah, I give it 2 more episodes. And
yeah, I feel like it's just kind of building up to a final battle, which at least the final battle looks to be interesting.
I agree. So, 2 more episodes I could stick around for Garo. But Garo's going to be going very soon. Fairy Tail will go first, but Garo's going to be like a week or 2 behind it. So let's get into something that we'll actually enjoy talking about, which is, and ironically it's only 2 minutes later, it is One Piece 733.
Yeah, 733. This was actually pretty awesome. Because I've been waiting for them to actually wrap up this Doflamingo fight, and I liked seeing his like awakening mode here with him using the strings, and he actually looks kind of like a flamingo in this scene because he got the feathers going on there. It was a pretty cool thing. I've always Doflamingo is very cool as a character, and I like how they settled this, and they're finally wrapping up this arc. The cage is coming down.
Yeah, I was hoping at least by the end of this episode we would have gotten that final punch, so to speak, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
And we got it. We got it. Thank you, God. So
although I will kind of, a little bit of a nitpick I have here with One Piece is that they basically kind of just recycled the animation for the Gear 4 transformation. But I understand, like we've already seen it. You don't need to make it different. But like it looked like they just kind of copied and pasted the animation.
Well, he did go Extreme Gear 4. I mean, he put more air into his body. I mean,
Oh yeah, where he blew up his arm. Yeah.
Even his back, like that tattoo that was on his back from Gear 4, got bigger. It got thicker. His body got harder. It was really cool. I actually enjoyed watching this. I mean, I skipped around at the beginning a bit, but towards the end I started really sticking with it till the end.
Yeah. That's the thing with One Piece. It's an extremely slow burn, but the world building and the characters definitely make it worth it.
As long as it's not super, super slow like it was last month, I'm okay with One Piece, on a weekly basis. But if you can't have 5 and 7 episodes of just people running around while Luffy needs to rest for 10 minutes. That's figure 5 weeks. That's about 25 hours. 25 hours. That's about figure 5 weeks, half hour each. It's about 2.5 hours of a 10-minute cool down. You know what I mean? Too much. That's a movie.
But I mean, that's kind of the trope of shonen anime to begin with, because I mean, if you remember Dragon Ball Z, Namek was supposed to explode in 5 minutes, and that was like
years.
Yeah, that was like 20 episodes, and if you were watching it in dub, that was hell, because like they would get close, and then they would restart, and then they'd get close, and then they'd restart.
Yes, sir. I remember those days, and I remember that was a huge reason why I got out of Dragon Ball Z until the Cell Saga actually got into fruition. And then when they went backwards back to Namek, I watched it then because I was like, there is no way I'm going to keep getting so close and then they're going to restart it again. It was but you got to admit, back in those days, Funimation was just really forming. It was just getting its its groundwork.
Yeah.
Anime wasn't popular in America until after, the Frieza saga of Dragon Ball Z.
And to be fair, One Piece has been around since those early days also, so One Piece has also grown in that way. So that's why One Piece and Dragon Ball Z have very similar structures in that sense, because it's a very old school and really think about it since it came out in Japan in like 92.
Yep. Exactly. A lot of I think Fairy Tail started in the early 2000s, correct? Fairy Tail was early 2000s, I believe.
Fairy Tail started in 03 in Japan, I want to say.
Okay.
And then like it started getting licensing, I think, in like 06, and we officially got got it in America in 2012,
Gotcha.
2011. It's in the tens.
We've
In
caught
the
up.
tens.
Let's put it this way: we caught up in America to where they're at now, almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, um, I enjoyed the episode though, which is a good thing because this was going to the Otaku Hour, which now it's back to being a part of this show. So hopefully it will keep on its, not watching people run around for weeks on end kind of deal. We'll actually get some story now.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. From what I've read, ahead of time in the arc, it's gonna be fun. We've got some good stuff in store for the Straw Hats.
Awesome. All right, so let's go into what do you call it? I had to write that down. Naruto Shippuden, which I know you want to talk about. I thought it was an excellent episode. It's 453. It was. I didn't think I was going to get into Itachi so much, but I'm really super into this character now. I really like.
Yeah, he is honestly he's my favorite character in all of Naruto, and he's in my opinion he's the most complex character in the Naruto universe because I mean this guy is like 12 years old right now, and he's like all the stuff he's been through, all the stuff he's contemplating, the level of his thinking, it's crazy.
Oh,
Yep. And I mean, like, he's forming bonds with his teammates here, going on these silly missions, capturing this drunk cat and
I
stuff.
liked it. It was like it felt like it was a Naruto mission again. I liked that.
Yeah, and he was bonding with his friend. He actually made a very good friend on his team, and then that's what really kind of pushed that ending there, where his friend gets killed and he activates the Sharingan. And also, it kind of parallels that point where he's talking to his girlfriend, and his girlfriend shows him that she's unlocked the Sharingan, and he's kind of jealous of that fact because he's like, I want to be strong too. It's like
Is that
I'm
his girlfriend? Is that his girlfriend?
yeah. I'm about 98% sure that that's going to be his girlfriend. Because I mean, he saved her. She wanted to play with him in the first place when they were really young, and they seem very close. She even wanted to hold Sasuke and stuff. Definitely think that's going to be his girlfriend.
Mm. Well, Itachi's dead now, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, and he ended up killing the entire clan. So obviously he ends up killing the girlfriend. And we also hear a story. We also hear a story from back then that he did have a lover and he ended up killing her. So.
Oh boy.
So yeah, like I'm wondering if they're gonna actually show the Uchiha Clan massacre because that's gonna be very cool to actually see it.
That's gonna be too graphic for me. Then I don't want to see him kill his girlfriend. This girl loves him, and he's gonna go kill her.
I mean, if you really, but I mean, from Itachi's perspective, right? The Uchiha Clan are going to try to overthrow the village and kind of throw it into like anarchy and chaos and take it over, and Itachi is killing them so that his brother will be able to, because his brother is completely innocent from all this corruption that his family is doing. So basically, he's tasked with killing his family and kind of becoming this pariah in a sense. But nobody will ever know that he was actually doing this for good. But he's taking all this on his shoulders just so that his brother will not be blamed for any of this, and his brother can be safe and live a normal life.
Right, which he doesn't. He becomes pretty for a time, but still.
Yeah, he has such a deep story, and like that's why I really feel for Itachi.
I'm enjoying this. I'm worried when we get to the villain's background story, I'm gonna be like.
It's very exposition heavy. I feel like if you play through the game, you'll at least get an idea of what it's like. Well, yeah. So once you play through Storm 4, and you get to like the part that explains to her.
I think I'm almost up to that. If I'm not.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm getting there. I'm playing it very slowly because I was very heavy on the division, but now I want to get back. Naruto, you got to remember this is a game that's a fighting game, and you got to learn combos and stuff, and it's not my style of game. That's for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, because it's not your traditional, like, you memorize, like, a specific combination. It's more like you memorize button orders for stuff.
Exactly.
And like, different strategies on how to, like, mix up these different button orders for specific techniques and all that. So yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully I'll get there soon. So.
Yeah, it's not your typical Mortal Kombat Street Fighter type of fighter. So yeah, I can understand why there's like an adjustment period to that.
Exactly, and I'm trying to erase all of that from my mind while I play it. But let's go into Fairy Tail because I really want to talk about that. I really loved this episode. It was a lot of fun to watch, and because when we started Anime Weekly, we were doing zero. When we brought Fairy Tail in, we were in zero, so we were in the past. We were watching the origin of Fairy Tail, and I only watched the first 6 episodes of the original series, the first series, and a lot happened. Obviously, I mean we had 80 plus episodes in this current run, and 170 something episodes in the previous.
176.
176. That's right. So there were a lot. A lot went on in 176 plus another 80 episodes. 200 plus episodes. So to be back in the present was cool, but at the same time, Fairy Tail disbanded.
Yeah, and it's a time skip 1 year into the future. And man, in 1 year, Lucy, like I'm gonna sound like a real pervert for a second, but in 1 year, Lucy's boobs like tripled in size. I was like, holy crap!
They threw them in front of us.
Yeah, that whole shower scene. I mean, again, Fairy Tail is known for the fan service and to like really show off how hot their girls are, but like
that was too in my face, to be honest. That was a very like, look at me. Ooh. I was like, I'm uncomfortable. I like the character, but I'm uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, get used to that.
Oh,
There was this filler. And there was a food fight, and Noah was involved. I'm gonna let your imagination wander on that one.
I can imagine, and the end of this episode, I can imagine also because her shirt melted off at the end of the episode, if you remember. So I have a feeling Lucy's topless a lot in this series. So Lucy ends up working for a newspaper for a year, and we find out.
She ends up being like a magic journalist.
But the reason she's doing this is to keep tabs on everybody from Fairy Tail, but she can't find Natsu.
Yep. Because Natsu is kind of like a drifter. Like, he doesn't have his family anymore, so he has no reason to, stick around in one place. So he's just going around kicking ass and taking names.
Can you tell me one thing, and I need to know this. Will Fairy Tail at some point in some incarnation be reformed?
Oh yeah, they reform. They reform. It's and Makarov gets title of guild. And then I'll spoil this. So they reform, and a new guild master is chosen.
Okay.
And Urza becomes a new guild master. But then, so it's very cool.
White-haired girl now.
Urza is the redhead chick.
So she's not going to be part of their group then anymore.
No, Urza's the redhead chick. She's the one that wears the armor.
Right, and she's not going to be part of Natsu's group anymore then.
Yeah, she's going to basically more do the administrative stuff. Okay. And she actually will get to because the guild masters have access to Mavis's body and all that. So we'll actually get to see Lumen Histore, which is, the crystal with Mavis's body with the unlimited magical power supply, and Mavis is actually the one instrumental in reforming Fairy Tail again because her ghost is the one that kind of pushes.
Does she ever come out? Because when I was reading the anime, did she ever cure herself, or it's always
nope? It's a ghost. It's a ghost.
Always the ghost. Okay, I was just curious.
And she's not technically dead either, so I don't think it's like a ghost. It's like I guess you would say it's an astral projection. Because technically she's immortal because of that curse.
Right.
But also technically because of when Zareth kissed her, he also technically kind of killed her, but he technically can't kill her because she's immortal. It's really confusing.
Yeah, and they'll explain that, and that's why I didn't want to get into it, because you mentioned all this to me, and I'm like, I didn't see that in Zero, but they do a lot of flashbacks during the Zaroff story arc that's coming in about a half a year now.
Yeah, and that's one of the good things about Fairy Tail is when they start a new story arc, they tend to do a whole recap so that you can literally jump on to any story arc and you won't be completely lost.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm loving it, and I'm glad that they're ending 6 months. Will give me more than enough time to go back to watch almost everything from the first volume at least, get all the box sets, and be on volume 2 by the time they start. They continue volume 2 again. If they don't start from episode 1 again, which is a good possibility if they take more than a half a year off.
Yeah, who knows? They'll probably just call it Fairy Tale 2016 or Fairy Tale 2017, and they'll just start from episode 1.
Precisely. But one thing I will say is Natu shows up at the end because they're having that wizard competition again, and this group wins, and Lucy's like, duh, they've been hiding their power, but then Natu shows up and kicks all their ass in one foul, fiery swoop. And he
Yeah,
comes with like long hair.
it just shows how freaking badass Natsu is in this time skip. The only thing that upsets me though, and it upset me in the manga also. I love his look. I love his look here, but however, it doesn't stick. Like his look goes back to normal after
Cuts
this.
hair.
I was upset. I liked the longer hair. I
Me
liked how
too.
he was. I liked how he was looking. I liked that it showed the age there.
Me too. I like the hair. The hair was
Um,
really a huge plus for me.
yeah.
So, well, we'll have to see. Next week's episode 102, is the finale, at least for now. So, enjoy it next week while you can.
I'm guessing 102. I'm guessing 102 will be it'll end with Fairy Tale forming, and that'll be the cliffhanger. What they're gonna do next? Now
Mm.
that they're back together, type of thing.
Which is fine. It's a fair cliffhanger slash season ender if you think about it. So it's fair, give or take.
And it's kind of a good bookend also because if you think about it, Zero ended with Fairy Tale forming. So I guess the season also ending with Fairy Tale forming again makes sense thematically.
Yeah, I get it. Whatever it is, it is. I'm just hoping that they come back soon because I really am enjoying the manga, and I don't want to wait too long for the anime to catch up to where I caught up in the manga with. All right, the rest of the episodes are all 11, and we're starting with Divine Gate, episode number 11, and this one had Alto fighting his brother, and his
That
brother
was pretty
explaining.
freaking cool.
That was awesome. The brother explaining why he hit his older brother, and you get more on their backstory, why their parents were crazy, regardless whether it was for Alto or
The
his.
parents are assholes.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel bad when I heard the younger brother killed them. It made sense that they would do that. No?
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah, because I mean, even if you look at how they treated Alto before, from what we knew, from the beginning, where they only served him cold food.
Mhm.
I was like, what?
Yep.
That's crazy.
But the brother hates the older brother, the younger brother, because Alto saw the gate first. He was always protecting his younger brother, and the younger brother's like, you didn't think that it hurt me to see you getting hurt all the time? You made it worse for me instead of better. And Alto's like, that wasn't my purpose. My purpose was to protect you. And he's like, we're twins. You just came out first. You weren't the older brother protecting the younger brother. You are what was the word he used? He used a word. He said it wasn't love, it was this. Whatever it was.
Can't think of it off the top of my head.
But the fight happened, but neither one kind of came out on top. One of that girl, I forgot her name, she sacrificed herself a bit to protect Alto.
Oh yeah, Midori, the wind chick. Yep.
Yes. And now all three of them are going through the Divine Gate together to see what's on the other side. And that's where they leave you with that cliffhanger.
Although again, it kind of sucks that they each had to lose somebody that important to them, in order to go through all that pain to reach the gate.
I wouldn't lose somebody close to me just to go through a gate and get magical whatever, dimensional.
Man, I really hope Loki dies by the end of this series. Loki has to die because I fucking hate everything he's made.
Explicit word. Yes, I agree though. I agree. I 100% agree with you. I want to see Loki burn, and I want to see Arthur be the one to do it.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like he's earned that because especially because he's been Loki's puppet for like a majority of this season now.
Yeah, I agree. He has to be the one that puts it right in that, or Santa has to do it.
Santa, I would love to see Santa and Arthur just team up and yeah, just kick some butt.
I agree. All right. Oh, also we got to see the Scandinavian gods' possible end thanks to Oz.
And I'm glad. Oz definitely deserves some revenge after what Loki ended up making happen to Dorothy.
I agree.
So yeah,
I think one of them survived. I think the guy survived. I think he teleported away at the last moment. Don't be too surprised if you see him still alive somewhere.
probably.
So one of them survived. Anyway, it's enough of that. Let's go into Assassination Classroom, which was very weird this week. I don't understand why, but for some reason it was very weird this week for me. What about for you?
Those slice of life type of nothing really big happened. It was more just a regular school day type of thing.
Yeah, but this episode bothered me because the first half of the episode, well, I should say the first 15 minutes, was about the principal who's evil, and you can tell he's evil, taking over the A class so that the A class could beat the E class. And then when they went to go take the test, not only did the A class look like zombies, which was weird, gave me very bad memories of Zombie High School or whatever that anime was.
High School of the Dead.
High School of the Dead. But and I didn't watch that. I just know a lot about it.
I actually loved that series.
I'm sorry you did. But the part I like was the second half, where instead of showing the class taking the exam, they use symbolism, and they make it look like this big, all-out war kind of deal.
I thought that was pretty funny. I got a good laugh out of that.
I got a very good laugh out of that, especially when they showed the subject and they showed the bad guy for each subject.
Yeah, it felt kind of like a video game. I thought it was cool.
So that part felt good, but that really was it. The first half was preparing, the second half was the fight, which was metaphor.
I don't know. Maybe because I've been in school mode for so long recently, I very much related to comparing tests to war. Because man, that's pretty much what preparation for an exam is like. Especially like when you're like when all you have to do is school. Like
that's what a test feels like too. You're just fighting. You're just fighting these unknown things with guns and swords and whatever.
Yep. And your teacher's like the final boss. You just gotta make sure you can defeat them. Make sure you got the right amount of health, the proper items, and the right support team behind you.
And it's not the Division.
Oh man.
Yeah. But that's really all we could say for that. So let's go into what do you call it? Dimension W, which this one was really good this week. It's episode 11. We got Kyo's past, realized. We find out more about Lou. Lou actually has multiple bodies, but he's not a cyborg. His real body, his living body, it's kind of just like Mavis. His real body is inside of a
It's like would you call it a coil?
Well, the chamber I think is connected to a coil, which connects him to all the robot bodies.
Oh, okay. So that's what kind of connects a network of kind of. Because I thought he was kind of like an LMD type of thing.
Could be. I know the machine is keeping him alive. He's just living in the machine's bodies to kind of give him a feeling of, I'm, living.
Yeah.
But I like how Saliva actually felt more like a good guy now than a bad guy, but they all want the Genesis coil. And Loser actually turns out to be, we find out everything about Loser. We find out that the scientist who did everything on Easter Island is still alive and kicking in Dimension W, but we don't know where the Genesis coil is because Kyo took it and he can't remember. He appeared and reappeared, but he didn't have the Genesis coil. So where is the Genesis coil?
I'm definitely. I think I'm gonna go with definitely supporting your theory on it. Probably is inside him. It might be in his heart or something, and that might be what's keeping him alive. Kind of like an arc reactor type of situation.
Because it looked like he died, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because like from how intense that battle was that we saw in the previous flashbacks and stuff, there's no way he should have under normal circumstances survived all of that.
Not only that, remember the teleporter, no living thing has been able to be teleported, yet he was. How?
Mm-hmm.
He had an assist coil.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking also.
So something had to happen, and the mystery is building, and I love it. I love it.
And I kind of see how this is going to end. I definitely think it's probably going to be like where in order to save Mira, Kyo is going to end up taking the Genesis coil out of himself
and putting it in her.
Into her. Yep. And I think they might actually end up together, even though she's technically a little girl in a sense, but she's also based off his girlfriend.
I don't think together. I think he'll be like it'll be like father-daughter kind of deal.
Oh yeah, because she's very much like his girlfriend, and it's also be kind of like Loser and how Loser treats his daughter. I can see that. They do kind of have that kind of father.
I don't see romance. Yeah, I don't see romance because they're not showing any signs of Mira finding him attractive or Kyo kind of like having little thoughts about her. There's
yeah. You're right. I could definitely see more of the father-daughter thing happening with them, especially because she lost her dad in the beginning of the series. That scientist guy,
who was the reason for Dimension W and everything. Yeah, the connections and the coils and everything. So I definitely could see the ending being them working together as like this great team of like a father-daughter feeling kind of team. So that's my feeling. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe Kyo will die and we'll see him in heaven with his girlfriend or in Dimension W and with his girlfriend again. I don't know. We don't know where the girlfriend is. Remember, the head is still missing. Yep. And it's been proven that Ghost could keep things alive. So she could still be alive potentially somewhere.
Can you imagine how twisted it would be if she ends up being the bad guy?
Shh. No, she's not the bad guy. That would be messed up.
It would be messed up, but I think it would also be very, very cool to see. Now that I'm thinking about it.
That would be some twisted shit. I don't know. But I'm loving Dimension W, and the theme, I could listen to it it's just like One Punch Man. I could listen to it every single episode. It's the only theme I don't skip.
Yep. I don't skip through Fairy Tail theme. I was gonna say I don't skip through the Fairy Tail theme.
Did they change it? Or that's the way it was when the series started? And because it looked like because they
do what every anime normally does, and they do a new theme song every arc. So it's a new one, I think. It's a new opening, I think, for this arc. Yeah.
I love them though. I wish they'd make a music CD. I would love to get.
Oh yeah, Fairy Tail consistently has some of the best music.
I love their music. All right, so Luck and Logic. This was amazing because number one, Lucifer and Olga want to make a new world order. All of the foreigners are now all over the island, and the island is kind of closed off now.
Yeah, it's more like quarantined almost.
And the team is split. Everybody has to take a different foreigner, and Yoshi ends up going after Olga. But really, it's more of a distraction so that the others can contain all the other foreigners. But I like how he makes him and
Athena,
thank you, make a decision and a sacrifice by the end of this episode. But unfortunately, and this reminds me a lot of Kamen Rider Gaiam, because it reminds me so much of the two characters willing to sacrifice everything to be the strongest. They choose to overtrans, and Olga makes the same decision with Lucifer, and instead of them being ahead of Olga, now they're kind of on a level battlefield again. By the episode.
I mean, like, honestly, I feel like because Athena and Yoshika are actually kind of deeply in love. I don't think the overtrans will have as negative an effect because I feel like they're already pretty much merged. So I don't think she'll overtake his personality and he'll lose his logic and stuff like that. But I do kind of feel I do feel bad for Olga because I feel like overtraining for Olga might actually make him lose the last bit of good that he actually does have in him.
Exactly, that's my concern. And that's the only if Olga somehow escapes and they continue the series along, like and he's like that ultimate bad that'll show up every now and again, but not be around a lot. I could see this going, seasoning off, doing a couple
Yeah,
of seasons.
or I could even see a spin-off of just following Olga around, like see what he's up to.
That's true. There's a lot of possibilities with Luck and Logic. Unlike Dimension W, Divine Gate, Assassination Classroom, which we know all of those are ending, this one kind of has an open door. Even Dimension W kind of has an open door. There is potential. Like, after this mission, maybe, they could show him and Mira teaming up together. Like
Yeah, maybe.
getting closer and closer. They could. They might. They probably won't, especially if they close off the Men W completely. But if they don't, I could see the series lasting for a while, or it'll Cowboy Bebop. It'll end at episode 21.
Yeah, and maybe possibly just do a movie to close off any loose ends, and then I think that'll be a good way to send it off.
Well, Cowboy Bebop didn't do a movie to close off. Cowboy Bebop did a movie in the middle, and a movie that was a prequel, I believe.
Yeah.
So there was no end. Like, we don't even know. I still want to know if Spike died or if he survived.
See, I've read interviews and I've actually talked to Steve Blum at a convention before, and he says they made it so that like it's a choose your own adventure thing. So like you can choose to believe that either Spike went out in a blaze of glory, or that Spike managed to survive. The way I interpret it, I always like to imagine that Spike died here and he went out, with a bang.
Ironically, I have to respectfully disagree with you. I like to believe that Spike survived, and there was still more work to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that also, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel like this is what his character was building towards, and I don't know, because he's the cowboy. I definitely think this him going out this way is a more fitting end. But you know what? This would go more towards our '90s show. I don't want to get because I could talk about Cowboy Bebop for a long time. Like anyway, moving on.
No, that's it. So we finished this week. So next week, unfortunately, is the season finale of Fairy Tail. Hopefully, Dragon Ball Super will be subbed, so this way we'll be able to watch it. Hopefully, yeah, that's the only show that's gone right now. Hopefully, Pokemon will be better. Hopefully, Garo will be gearing up for its season finale as well. Everything else has been really great. I always look forward to our top. Also, I want to make mention that Anime Weekly might move a night later, because I feel having the weekend plus a little bit of Monday gives me more time to watch all the shows. Condensing them too much makes me feel like I'm too compact.
Yeah.
So a day later, this is a little bit later because we had a little complication on Monday night. Normally, and the target night that we'll be recording is Monday night, so you'll be seeing Anime Weekly Tuesday instead of Monday, just to give me some extra time to watch anime. We got a lot of shows, but if the shows shrink so much, like where we're like minus about 3 shows, it'll go back to a format where we'll record on Sunday night again, because then there's no problem.
Yeah.
The problem was it's 10 shows, which is potentially 5 hours almost, and spread out on like 2 days. It was just too much for me. I wanted to have a third day to kind of stretch it a bit more. But
yeah, that's understandable.
But if we're losing, we're losing so far at least 2 shows. So
yep.
I think that we'll be all right until here. We'll see. Right now, it's going to be potentially still recording Monday night. You'll be seeing this on Tuesday morning on YouTube, Tuesday afternoon on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. The special, we will hopefully be targeting to do that soon.
Yeah, it'll probably be in a few weeks. We said April, so yeah, a few weeks from now probably.
Yeah, and the Otaku Hour will be next Sunday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yes, it will. No, today is the 24th. It will be this Sunday, the 7th.
Oh, that's 3 days before my birthday.
That's right. So we're doing it this Sunday. So if you're watching this on Thursday, this Sunday we're doing the Otaku Hour. So look forward to the Otaku Hour. So that's yay! I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize we were so late in the month already.
Yeah, man. I guess missing those couple
Wait a
weeks
minute.
kind of sped through.
Oh, wait a minute. We're not in. Yeah, we are. Next Wednesday. Next
yeah,
Wednesday, 30th.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the first is the April 1st is next Friday. So yeah.
All right, so then this Sunday will be the Otaku Hour again, which is cool. We had a nice amount of things happen. I mean, the big, spotlights happened, all throughout the last 2 weeks of the month. So we'll have lots to talk about. The Otaku Hour potentially is about a 40-minute show on Comic Frontline, so go check it out this Sunday. And with that, that's it. As always, link in the description for Jeremy's channel and all the other awesome things connected right here on Dark Avenger C86, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, Frontline Gaming Zone, Last Ember Press. Got lots of things going on. As the year continues forward, my channel's building up. We got a lot of really great things coming your guys' way. So look forward to it. So next time, everybody, take care.
Keep watching your anime.
And
See you guys later.
See you guys next Tuesday. And potentially we'll see you guys on Sunday before Tuesday. So see you guys then. Bye, guys.
All right.